Old man, you really are a piece of work. With someone like you, who in the world would want to drink? Simply growing older and more pitiful. You're overestimating yourself. Don't. You think. Really? It's hilarious. The last day of training for new hires was that day. While waiting for my coworkers to arrive, at the restaurant where the welcoming party was scheduled to take place, I sat by myself. However, as time went on, nobody arrived. Rather, I was made fun of on the phone. I had changed careers at the age of 50 and was now training with recruits who were as young as Meownsons. During the training, one of them, Kyle, the executive's son, was unruly, doing whatever he wanted, and continuously upsetting the workers. I had to call him out because I was tired of his actions, but that simply made him target me, and I was subjected to his small-time harassment. I was utterly alone, counting down the days until the training was completed, while everyone else ignored me. I suppose I can come if you really insist, old man, but you're paying for it all. Okay. Will you do something constructive for the next generation? Had. Something broke inside of me. I have a different plan if that's how you want to play it. With a certain resolution blazing within of me, I thought, laugh while you can, and headed for the corporation. William is my name. I'm a middle-aged man who is around 50 years old and has worked for roughly 25 years. I spent a lot of time working for the same company after I graduated from college, but last Friday I made the decision to change, and I was given a small farewell party. I had been tormented by the choice, but I forced myself to face this new challenge since I understood that you only have one life to live. The business I selected for my second start produces stationery, with a focus on mechanical pencils and ballpoint pens. It is a significant participant in the market and is essentially interchangeable with ballpoint pens. The company's pens, which are lauded for their ease of use, have become a mainstay among stationery enthusiasts as well as students riding the recent stationery boom. New items are being introduced everywhere as a result of this tailwind, and factories all throughout the nation are putting forth endless effort to meet demand. I was shown to the conference room as soon as the training began at headquarters. My pulse began to race as I noticed that a group of young individuals in suits had already taken their seats. We were divided into groups for training after Mr. Simpson, the president of the company, greeted us and gave us an overview of the company's business operations and philosophy. I was shown to the conference room as soon as the training began at headquarters. My pulse began to race as I noticed that a group of young individuals in suits had already taken their seats. We were divided into groups for training after Mr. Simpson, the president of the company, greeted us and gave us an overview of the company's business operations and philosophy. Since it was a manufacturing company, it was not unusual to be dispatched to one of the many plants, but most people would be allocated to the headquarters. Workers at the factories are in charge of running production lines and making thoughtful decisions about what and how much to create. Everything comes down to experience and learning while working. Additionally, you must oversee the schedules of temp and part-time employees. Some of these employees have been with the organization for more than 10 years, so cultivating positive connections with them is essential. Depending on the procedure, there are more part-timers, which causes cliques to emerge among them. Naturally, individuals quit all the time. Therefore, you also need to intervene and deal with those circumstances. A great deal of attention to detail is necessary for this work. I'd heard innumerable tales of people resigning because the strain was too much for them. As I listened to the staff members speak, I considered the possibility that some of the people here would eventually follow that same course. Having said that, a lot has changed and progressed since my time. I was so absorbed in those ideas that time passed rapidly. At first, we were all nervous, but gradually everyone loosened up, and soon they were chatting with me, even treating me kindly despite my age. I was touched, but there was one guy who stood out: Kyle. He was the son of an executive, Trevor. At first, he came across as a hyper-enthusiastic young guy, determined to make the training fun, but it didn't take long to notice his problematic behavior. "Hey, you, go get my lunch, will you?" "Oh, okay, sure." Today, he once again picked on one of the more timid guys and made him fetch his lunch, while lighting a cigarette with a smug grin. "Hey, you can't smoke in here." An employee tried to stop him, but Kyle just glared at him and said, "I've got my future guaranteed." Hearing that, the employee couldn't say anything more, and everyone else just pretended not to notice. This only made Kyle more emboldened, and he continued bossing people around and heckling the staff during the training sessions. It was unbearable. Acting like the elder I was, I decided to warn him. "Kyle, from where I'm standing, your attitude isn't exactly commendable." Kyle's eyes widened in anger. "Ha! What the hell are you talking about, old man?" "My name isn't Old Man. It's William." "Oh, just like that character from the show, huh? That's hilarious." He was grinning, but his eyes weren't smiling at all. I could feel his simmering anger, the kind that doesn't tolerate defiance. This wasn't going to be easy, I thought. "I don't mind if you joke about my name, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't cause trouble for others. Or the staff. You're here to work, aren't you? They're not your servants. You should handle your own tasks." In response, Kyle violently kicked a nearby chair. Everyone around turned to look at the commotion. "Don't get cocky just because you're the oldest here, old man. Do you even know who I am? My dad's an executive here. If he wants, he could get rid of you just like that. You get that, right?" With that, Kyle stormed out of the room, still seething with anger. Everyone glanced at me with concern. I put on a cheerful front. "Sorry for all the fuss. Don't worry about me. I'm fine." But despite my words, their eyes were filled with obvious worry. A sense of unease crept into my heart as I feared Kyle would begin targeting me, and the harassment started. It began with small things: my training materials being torn up, my lunch deliberately knocked to the floor. He would interrupt me every time I spoke during group work, acting like a child. But Kyle was the son of Trevor. Even the staff seemed unable to intervene. My fellow trainees, afraid of Kyle, not only did nothing to stop the bullying, but began to look the other way entirely. Just talking to me could make them Kyle's next target. Sensing this tension, everyone slowly stopped speaking to me altogether. I was frustrated. I had been thrilled to relive the excitement of my early career and to be part of a group again, grateful that I'd made the decision to switch jobs. But then, just because this kid happened to be the son of an executive, he treated me like his personal enemy, mocking and belittling me at every turn. Never in my wildest dreams did I think at this age I'd be pushed around by someone like that. The once enjoyable training quickly turned into a dark, miserable experience. Each morning, I would count the days, hunched over as I dragged myself to headquarters. Just a little longer until the training is over. I just have to hold on until then. Isolated and lonely, I endured the training in silence without exchanging a single word with anyone until the final day arrived. "Hey, old man, we're having a welcome party tomorrow, so book a restaurant right now. And don't screw up and pick a bad place." Just as the training ended and I was about to leave, Kyle appeared out of nowhere, barking orders at me. "Wait, a welcome party? That's kind of sudden. Is everyone going?" I asked. "Don't complain when we're giving even someone useless like you something to do at the very least." He cut me off, shoving the responsibility of making a reservation onto me. He didn't care at all about my plans or time, and I was reminded once again of just how self-centered he was. Taking out my phone, I searched for a nearby restaurant. I found one with decent reviews and ratings and called to see if they had a table available. Since it was the day before, I thought they might refuse, but to my surprise, the staff was more than happy to accept the reservation. The person on the phone was friendly, and they offered an all-you-can-drink package with a wide variety of dishes. I was sure Kyle and the others would enjoy it. And yet, I never imagined what would happen next. The day of the welcome party arrived. I showed up on time at the restaurant I had booked, gave my name and reservation details to the receptionist, and they led me to a large private room in the back. It seemed no one else had arrived yet. I sat down, finally feeling a sense of relief. At last, the training is over. Just a little longer, and this miserable experience will be behind me. And so I waited, expecting the colleagues I had shared this journey with to arrive any minute. But half an hour passed, then an hour, and still no one showed up. This isn't right. I tapped on my phone and called Kyle. "Hello. What do you want?" He answered. "It's William. No one has shown up, and it's past the start time. What's going on?" Kyle laughed loudly on the other end before saying, "Old man, you're really something, aren't you? Who would want to drink with an old geezer like you? Don't you think you're overestimating yourself? This is hilarious." Then I heard multiple people laughing on the other end of the line. It was clear that a few others had been roped into Kyle's scheme. So there was never a welcome party in the first place. You lied to me? Yeah, that's right. I felt a little bad for you, so I thought at least I could give you the honor of booking a party that was never going to happen. Seems like a perfect task for someone like you, don't you think? Kyle's prank was so malicious that I could feel my anger boiling over. "Oh, but if you're paying for everything, old man, we might just show up. You've got more money than us, right? It shouldn't be a problem for you, huh?" He taunted, laughing. His words pushed me to my breaking point, but I managed to stay calm enough to respond. "I see. Well, this little stunt has shown me exactly what kind of person you are. If that's how you think of me, I have some thoughts of my own." I heard murmurs and whispers from the people around Kyle. Thoughts? What could an old man like you possibly do? Are you out of your mind? Kyle sounded like he was riding high on his arrogance. Kyle continued to bombard me with condescending remarks and attitude. I brushed off his words calmly, thinking through what I needed to do tomorrow. The following morning, a commotion erupted at headquarters. What's going on? Did something happen? Have you heard anything? In front of the bulletin board on the first floor, new recruits were buzzing with excitement, and the employees who overheard gathered in confusion. Posted on the bulletin board was a notice, titled, "Rescinding the employment offer for this year's new hires," followed by an explanation of the reasons behind it. What is this? What the hell? William, did you know about this? I didn't respond, just stood there with my arms crossed, watching the scene unfold with a curious feeling. Then Kyle burst in, panting heavily. When he saw the bulletin board, a vein in his temple started throbbing. "Hey, what the hell is going on?" He spotted me and immediately grabbed at me. "Why does the HR director's notice have your name on it? Did you pull some strings or something?" Half panicking, he glared at me with a twisted smirk. "No. I've been hired as the HR director from the start." "What?" Kyle's face turned even paler. Before coming here, I had spent many years working at a well-known retailer that operated nationwide, moving between various departments for the last decade or so. Before I left, I was the HR manager. When I first joined the company, the American casual boom was in full swing, and bright, flashy designs were all the rage. Our company specialized in developing American, casual-themed goods and character merchandise, which led to massive sales. However, that all changed when one of the executives was caught in a scandal. As the HR Assistant manager at the time, the burden on me became overwhelming. But as an HR professional, I held a firm belief. Not a single employee would lose their job on my watch. A company is only as strong as the hard work of its employees. If that hard work wasn't recognized, the company wouldn't survive. So, along with other middle managers, we worked together to identify the company's shortcomings and brainstormed ways to make changes, starting with what we could control. We overhauled the company's outdated image, incorporating feedback from younger employees, and improving the work environment and benefits as much as possible. Through these small, gradual efforts, we eventually saw a significant drop in both sick leave and employee turnover, compared to before the scandal. Motivation started to rise, and little by little, we began to see more smiles from the employees. That kind of positive energy spreads, and soon enough, we had more business partners. One day, an employee suggested we recruit those with artistic talent to create an original company character. This sparked the launch of a character design project held as a competition. The project was open to anyone interested, regardless of their position. This initiative energized the staff even more, and with all the hard work we had put in over time, sales started to rise. Now, our original character has become incredibly popular, gaining attention from TV shows and magazines, further increasing our company's recognition. Among our product lines, stationery was the top seller, and we partnered with several stationery manufacturers. Naturally, our company was one of their clients, and Mr. Simpson, the president, made a point of visiting. Regularly, always stopping by to chat casually. During one of those conversations, Mr. Simpson apparently heard about my accomplishments, and with his eyes gleaming, headhunted me. Although I didn't expect the title HR Director to come with the job. When Kyle heard this, he stammered, flustered. "But you took the training with us. HR Directors don't go through training." Well, I wanted to observe the new recruits as the HR Director, but since I didn't know anything about this company, it seemed like a good opportunity to learn the ropes alongside everyone else. I smiled as I continued. You see, no matter how old you get, it's exciting to try new things. But I didn't expect what happened. I never imagined I'd face such petty harassment from you, and now I owe an apology to the restaurant for the trouble caused yesterday. Kyle, trembling, opened his mouth as if to say something, but just then, "Hey, where's William? Where is he?" A short, stocky, middle-aged man with a noticeably shiny head stormed in, fuming with anger. It was Kyle's father, Trevor. "I'm William." I stepped forward with a firm expression. The room was filled with a tension unlike anything before. "Hey, what's this about my son's offer being rescinded?" His face was flushed red, and his expression was less that of an executive and more of a father ready to grab me. "Trevor, nice to meet you. I'm William, the newly appointed HR Director." "I don't care about that. What's this about my son? He told me you've been harassing him relentlessly and used your position to have his offer rescinded. I won't accept someone like you as HR Director." Remaining calm, I pulled something from my pocket and handed it to him. "In that case, I have something for you as well. This is the bill for the cancellation fee from yesterday's restaurant. I'd like you to cover it." Trevor didn't take it. Instead, he swatted it away, shouting, "Are you kidding me? Where's the proof? Show me the proof." With that, I pulled out my phone and tapped on a file. What played from the phone was the recording of my conversation with Kyle after he and the others bailed on the restaurant the night before. As the recording progressed, the expressions of those around us began to change. When it finished, Kyle muttered under his breath, "What? You recorded me? Unbelievable. You old man." "Yes, and you should be aware of how disgraceful your behavior was, especially as someone aiming for a career in HR." Everyone around wore the same angry expression, brimming with indignation, but I remained, completely unfazed. No, I'd say it's your son's behavior that's truly shameful. What did you say? Trevor growled. As you mentioned, I've provided proof. Now, please settle the bill. Just as Kyle shot me a sharp glare, we were interrupted. Hey, what's going on here? Why all the commotion? Mr. Simpson entered the room, causing Trevor to panic. Hey, what are you all doing? Get back to work. At that, the employees who had been standing around like spectators quickly scattered. Now, only the new recruits and a few of us remained, with Mr. Simpson looking at us sternly. Mr. Simpson, this man, William, has been spreading false accusations about my son, and I was just trying to clear things up. Well then, let's hear your rebuttal. Mr. Simpson faced me with a serious expression. Behind him, Trevor and Kyle wore smug smiles, as if they had gained the upper hand. I kept my calm and started, yes, Trevor here blackmailed the previous HR manager, threatening to expose his weaknesses unless his son was hired. The room stirred, and the color drained from Kyle's face. Trevor quickly jumped in to defend himself. Mr. Simpson, that's a lie. He has no proof. That's not all. Hey, watch your mouth, Trevor shouted. Quiet, Trevor, Mr. Simpson said in a deep, resonant voice, sternly rebuking him. Trevor stood, there in shock, while Kyle flinched visibly. Mr. Simpson turned to me. William, go on. Yes. I then calmly and methodically laid out all of Trevor's past misdeeds. For all these reasons, I could no longer stand by and ignore Trevor's behavior as HR director. I then bowed deeply to Mr. Simpson. He let out a sigh and said, Thank you, William. With those words, Mr. Simpson genuinely showed his appreciation toward me. Mr. Simpson, you're actually going to believe him. These are baseless accusations. I've heard rumors of your actions for a while now. This just confirms it. Trevor collapsed to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Kyle, too, wore a look as if the world had ended. Mr. Simpson approached me and placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. As for Trevor, while he was originally set for immediate dismissal, Mr. Simpson showed great mercy, and Trevor was demoted from executive to a regular employee. His misdeeds became well known within the company, and he was soon relegated to a desk job, shunned by his coworkers. However, Trevor couldn't shake the habits he developed after years of lording over others as an executive. He began secretly targeting weaker employees with borderline harassment, but after one of his victims filed a formal complaint about his abusive behavior, he was fired for misconduct with no severance pay. He now lives a hard life. As for Kyle, who had already left the company, rumors have it that he was arrested for causing trouble on a train and has since disappeared. What a troublesome pair they turned out to be. As for the new recruits whose offers were rescinded due to this incident, the company concluded that Kyle had led the harassment against me, and the others likely felt powerless to defy him because of his father. The company decided that those who sincerely reflected on their actions and expressed a desire to return would be given another chance. With the chaos finally behind us, I quickly got to work as HR director, proposing the steps we needed to take moving forward. Today, as part of that effort, I'll be visiting each department to listen to the concerns of the employees. My role is to ensure that each individual's voice is heard, fostering an open and supportive workplace. Navigating the corporate world is no easy task. People who grow complacent in their positions and fail to show compassion for those around them will never do good work. Building relationships takes effort, but through those experiences, we become kinder and more understanding. That's what I've learned over my long career. Moving forward, I hope to continue supporting these hardworking people from behind the scenes, doing whatever I can to help.